I love Unlovable. I mean, I just think it's so powerful. Go.
Unlovable was kind of inspired by the same person as Drifting.
Okay.
But not so much him as who he represents. The Drifting was more like I had him in my mind, but when we were writing Unlovable, and I'll just say this very bluntly, I don't know that I've even said this to anyone, but the dance community has been extremely, just EDM has been very, very embracing of my music and of me as a singer, and I've been able to collaborate with several different artists in that genre, in that format. But in the dance community, it's predominantly homosexual. Not everyone, but it's a very, that style of music is, for instance, Christian music, mostly Christians are the ones loving it. But not all people that like Christian music are Christians. So not all people who love dance music are gay, but there's a predominant amount of people that do. And I was thinking about how much they've loved me and how blatant I am about who I love and having a compassion for them. And in fact, Unlovable's original lyric was, I make you uncomfortable with who I love. And the two co-writers that I was sitting with, Seth and Ben, Seth made a comment and he said, I think this song has so much potential that when we say that, we have literally stuck it in a corner and it will only relate to someone who is gay or has someone in their life that's gay. And he said, and I feel like we should have it a little bit more broad, that maybe they are not loved or accepted or welcomed or whatever. For they could be an interracial couple. They could be covered. They could be covered in tattoos. They could be like, there could just be a number of things about them that cause someone to limit their love for them. And so so it changed from that to, I make you uncomfortable when I'm around. You always find a reason to shut me out.
Right.
You don't understand me, so you push me away, which is kind of like almost the ping pong of Drifting. Like, I don't have to understand, so here's my two arms, where it's like, you don't understand me, so you push me away. And you say, I forget exactly how I phrase it now that my mind is spinning, but it's like, and you say that it's, Jesus says it's okay to act that way. And because I had this image of whether someone's gay or whatever, of someone not understanding them. And so their knee-jerk reaction is to distance themselves, which in turn, that's out of an insecurity. Whether you agree with them or not, understand them or not, when you don't really get it, you have a knee-jerk reaction to kind of distance yourself out of an insecurity and make them actually feel a way that I don't necessarily think people consciously want to make that person feel so isolated. Because there's scuds of parents, I'm sure, that their child is a cutter or they're gay or they're making certain choices that their parent doesn't understand or agree with. And so they just, and they just kind of freak out and they distance themselves, and their child actually needs them to wrap their arms around them even more and say, I don't understand, but I'm just going to love you. I do not understand this. In fact, some of this I may or may not even agree with, but I'm going to love you. And maybe God can change me, or maybe God's going to change you, but no matter what, let's just love each other and have each other through this. And and so that was the first verse, and we decided, because we weren't going to limit it to just homosexuality, that the second verse is about a single mother who does not have her act together. And I almost had this like politically correct person saying, like, let's reach out to the widows and the orphans and let's love on those who have less than us. But yet when it's in their face, maybe it's their daughter who's now pregnant, well, they don't even want to be seen, or they want her to go live somewhere else. And it's like, wait a minute. If we say that this is who we serve a God of love and a God of forgiveness, then we have to be loving and we have to be forgiving. And so, and the bridge is obviously a little bit harsh, but it's like, so we say we love Jesus, but years ago, it's us that killed him and put him up on a tree because we didn't believe him. Right. Didn't understand him. And so it's like, so Jesus probably felt a little bit of like, why me? Why am I the enemy here? And so it was not a song necessarily saying, I think something is right or wrong.
Right.
There in our interview that it's, I don't know. Like if I've never been through something, whether it's homosexuality or cutting, I honestly can't tell you what I truly believe God says, because he speaks to us individually, but he also speaks to us as a church and as a community. And I think that no matter what someone is going through, I don't believe your faith is an individual thing. I believe you are an individual that lives your faith out in a community. And so you are surrounded by love and hope that will help shape you and help guide you into who, you know, God's created you to be. And that might look a little different than who your parents thought you were supposed to be, or your, you know, great aunt or your uncle. It's a song about saying you are lovable because you were created in God's image. And so if someone that you are close to, that you love, is not showing that to you, then that I don't want someone to think that's Jesus. It's not. And so your parents might be wrong, or you know, or maybe they're just misguided, or maybe they're just insecure, or maybe they're just confused, and you know, but hey, you might be wrong too. But it's just not loving each other is just not, that's never an answer. It's just never an answer. And so you can quote me on that. So when I have a teenage son doing stupid stuff, you can say, Tiffany, you said just to love him. You know, say, okay, I love you. It's like every day, no matter what you do today, good or bad, we still love you. And
I'll play it back when I do stupid stuff.
All right.
just so I'm reminded.
Yeah. Well, that's unlovable.